When you first start learning a new language, you expect it to work like a box of simple, single-purpose tools.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like a one-to-one translation.
Exactly.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you learn the word for hammer, and every single time you need to hit a nail, you just reach into the box, grab the hammer, and you're good. It's incredibly simple.
Right. It feels very direct.
Yeah, you have a word for water, a word for car, a word for hello. It feels almost like basic arithmetic. Like one word simply equals one concept.
It's the illusion of simplicity.
Hmm.
And frankly, that illusion is totally necessary just to get you started. Otherwise, you'd feel completely overwhelmed on day one.
Right. It is deeply comforting when you're a beginner. But then, as you step out of that safe, sterile environment of the textbook and into the actual messy reality of the real world, you pick up one of these familiar tools and suddenly it just morphs in your hand.
Oh, it completely changes shape.
Literally. You realize that this hammer also has a screwdriver hidden in the handle and, I don't know, maybe a magnifying glass, a corkscrew, and a wire cutter.
A Swiss Army knife.
Yes. Suddenly you are looking at a Swiss Army knife of a word. And if you don't know how to unfold all those hidden tools, you can get very confused very fast.
That is honestly a perfect way to describe the transition from beginner vocabulary to actual everyday fluency. Language is just rarely a box of single-use tools.
Yeah.
The most common words are actually the most flexible. They adapt the context, they change shape depending on the situation, and, well, they carry centuries of cultural baggage that you just can't find in a basic bilingual dictionary.
So welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are unpacking a word so common you probably used it like 5 times before breakfast today.
At least 5 times.
The word is good. Just 4 letters. G-O-O-D.
Hmm.
But as you'll see, it is actually a massive linguistic trap.
It really is.
And we are going to use this single, tiny word as our anchor today to navigate the absolute essentials of everyday English. We're talking about money, time, the daily grind of work, and enjoying food with friends.
All the absolute necessities.
Exactly. So if you are navigating the early stages of learning English, or even if you just want to really solidify your foundations and understand the mechanics of why we speak the way we do, this is exactly where you need to be.
Because learning English isn't just about memorizing endless lists of vocabulary like a robot. If you just memorize lists, you will sound like a dictionary, not a person.
Right. You want to sound human.
Exactly. True fluency is about understanding the hidden mechanics, the why and the how behind the grammar, and learning how to avoid the common psychological and linguistic traps that almost every beginner falls into.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the dual identity of this tiny 4-letter word. Good lives a secret double life.
It does, it's very sneaky.
It really is. It is primarily an adjective, but it can also be a noun. And I want to pause right here because, as a beginner, knowing when it's doing which job is an absolute game changer.
It is the bedrock of the language. So let's look at its primary job first, the adjective. I like to think of an adjective as like a specific colored lens that you place over a noun.
Okay, a colored lens. I like that.
Yeah, its entire purpose in life is to alter how you see the person, the place, or the thing. It tells you the quality. But what's really fascinating here is how many entirely different types of quality this one specific lens can project. It depends entirely on what word it is sitting next to.
Right, the lens shifts. Let's walk through the mechanics of this with some super simple examples for beginners. First, the most basic meaning that literally everyone learns, pleasant or enjoyable.
The classic definition.
Yeah, so if you say, this is a good book, you are simply saying it brings you pleasure. Or like, did you have a good time at the party?
Very straightforward. But then the meaning shifts slightly. It moves from mere pleasure to indicating high quality or a high level of skill.
Like a professional level.
Exactly. For instance, if someone says, she speaks good French. Now wait, it doesn't mean her French is morally righteous. Right. And it doesn't just mean listening to her French brings you pleasure.
Right, it means she's skilled.
Yes, it means her French is of a high standard. It is technically proficient. Or if you say, the food at this restaurant is very good, you mean it is of high quality.
Okay, then we have successful or able to do something well, like Anne's a good cook or she's very good at geography. It's describing her competence. So the lens is projecting ability there.
And it continues to shift. It can also mean kind or helpful. Good friend is someone who supports you. Or if someone says, my granddaughter is very good to me, they mean she is kind and caring. The lens here is one of interpersonal warmth.
Now, here is one that I hear beginners get confused by all the time, and it involves using good to mean healthy. You ask a native speaker, "Hi, how are you?" And they just casually reply, "I'm good, thanks."
Yes, and this is a really fascinating cultural and grammatical evolution because historically, strict grammar purists would argue you should say, I am well.
Right, because well is the adverb.
Exactly. Well is the adverb describing the state of your being. But in modern, everyday spoken English, saying I'm good to mean I am healthy, stable, and happy is completely standard. It has just become a fixed phrase.
So beginners shouldn't stress about saying "I am well" in a coffee shop.
No, not at all. I'm good is perfectly fine.
Okay, and finally, as an adjective, it can even mean a large or ample amount. This one is so weird to me. You hear native speakers say things like, "We waited a good 20 minutes," or "It's a good 30 miles to the next town."
I know, it sounds bizarre when you break it down.
Wait, let me push back here. What exactly makes those 20 minutes good? Were they delicious? Did they behave well? How can a unit of time or distance be moral or pleasant?
This raises such an important question, and the answer actually lies in the historical semantic drift of the English language.
Semantic drift. Okay, explain that.
So in Old English, the word good often carried the connotation of being complete, whole, or full.
Oh, interesting.
Right. So if you traveled a good mile, you traveled a complete full mile, not a fraction of one. Over the centuries, this concept of completeness bled into the idea of ample or more than enough.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, so when someone says a good 20 minutes, they are emphasizing that it was a full, solid 20 minutes, perhaps even a little bit more. It emphasizes the size or duration.
That is wild. So you learn on day one that good means the opposite of bad. But then you hear someone say, "a good 30 miles." And if you don't know the history of that semantic drift, you are completely lost.
Totally lost.
Understanding these subtle shifts in the adjective form prevents that confusion. The lens changes color based on the noun it is attached to.
Exactly. It adapts.
So that is good as an adjective. It modifies things.
Yeah.
But here's where we need a completely different mental model. Sometimes good stops being the lens and becomes the object you're actually looking at. It becomes a noun.
The second identity.
Right. I was trying to think of an analogy for this, for you, the listener. Think of the adjective good, like a really nice, stylish jacket. You put that jacket on another word, like a book, a meal, a friend, to make that word look appealing. A good book. The jacket is describing the book.
I really like this visualization. The adjective is just an accessory.
But when good is a noun, it's not the jacket anymore. It is the actual person wearing the jacket. It stands completely on its own 2 feet in the sentence. It doesn't need to be attached to another word. It becomes the subject or the object itself.
Precisely. And when it operates as this independent noun, it generally carries 2 main definitions. The first is a tangible advantage, a usefulness, or a help to a person.
Give us a simple example of that.
Okay, so if a parent forces a child to eat broccoli, they might say, I know you hate it, but it's for your own good.
For your own good.
Right. The good here is a tangible biological benefit. It is a thing you possess. Or a doctor might say, a holiday will do you good.
Do you good. That's such a common phrase. It literally means provide you with an advantage.
Yeah.
You are basically receiving a package of usefulness.
Exactly. And the second noun definition is the grand abstract concept of what is morally right.
Like good versus evil.
Yes. So in a sentence like, children don't always understand the difference between good and bad. In this sentence, good and bad are not describing anything else. They are the fundamental concepts of morality themselves. They are the invisible forces of the universe.
So to summarize the grammar shift simply for our listeners,
Okay.
if you could put a or the or your in front of it, or if it's the main idea of the sentence like for your own good, it's a noun. It is the person wearing the jacket.
Right.
But if it's just describing the next word, like a good car, it's an adjective. It is the jacket.
Exactly. And why does this structural shift matter? Because beginners often use words interchangeably without realizing the structural rules. If you don't know when good is a noun, you won't understand the idioms and common phrases that native speakers use literally all the time.
Speaking of idioms, there is a massive trap we need to help you avoid right now. It's the idiom for good.
Oh, this is a big one.
If someone says, when he was 20, he packed his bags and left home for good, a beginner translating literally might think he left home to find a positive advantage or, I don't know, to do some kind of charity work. He left for the good.
Yes. And that is a perfectly logical assumption if you were just using a beginner's dictionary. But for good is an ancient idiom that simply means forever. It means permanently.
Wait, really? Just forever?
Yes, it has absolutely nothing to do with something being pleasant or positive. If a beloved local bakery goes bankrupt and closes for good, it is a tragedy. It is shut down permanently.
Where on earth does that come from? How does good mean forever?
It actually comes from an older, longer phrase from hundreds of years ago, for good and all. Over time, people are lazy, so they chopped off the and all part. Yeah, the original meaning implied a sense of finality, that a decision was made completely, fully, and with absolute finality. Just like a good 20 minutes means a full 20 minutes, leaving for good meant leaving fully and finally.
That is so fascinating. So for good equals forever. Put that in your mental toolbox right now. And another quick mechanical tip, to avoid a very common mistake, never confuse good with well when you are describing an action.
Oh yes, please don't do this.
Good describes nouns.
Oh.
Well describes verbs. You have a good voice, so you sing well. You don't sing good, you're a good driver, so you drive well.
A very necessary distinction. The adjective modifies the thing and the adverb modifies the action.
So we've established the foundation of this incredibly versatile word. Now,
Hmm.
to truly master English, you need to be able to use it in everyday high-stakes situations. And what is more everyday and high stakes than talking about money?
Everyone has to deal with money.
Exactly. We all have to deal with it.
Hmm.
Let's look at how our anchor word, good, intersects with the vocabulary of finance.
This is where we see the theoretical grammar become highly practical for everyday life.
So you will often hear native speakers talk about wanting to earn good money or decent money. Now, hold on. We just established that good as a noun means morality. So if someone says he earns good money, does that mean the money is ethical? Like, it's clean money, not mafia money.
It's a great question, but no. In financial context, when people say good money, they're almost always adopting the large or ample amount definition, just like a good 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, good money simply means a large, substantial amount of money. It means a high salary. It is entirely about the quantity, not the morality of the cash.
The semantic drift strikes again. It means full or ample money.
Yes. And we also see good used as a noun with money. A financial advisor might tell you, putting money aside for emergencies will do you good.
Right, utilizing that noun structure again.
Exactly, to mean it will provide a long-term, tangible advantage.
Let's dive deeper into the mechanics of everyday money vocabulary. Because to do anything with money, you have to acquire it first. And English have three distinct verbs for this, each carrying its own psychological and moral weight.
This is crucial for beginners to grasp.
The first and most socially acceptable way is to earn. E-A-R-N.
Earn is a fascinating word. Etymologically, it traces back to Proto-Germanic roots related to harvest and labor. And that concept survives perfectly today. You earn money by expending effort by working.
Right, you earn a salary, you earn a wage, you earn a living.
Exactly. You are trading your energy for currency. How much do teachers earn in the UK?
The second way requires zero effort, only luck. It's the verb win. You use this when you get money through a lottery, a prize, or a bet. I won 50 quid on a scratch card yesterday.
Notice you do not earn lottery money because you didn't work for it. You win it. And this is a really common mistake for speakers of Romance languages, where the verb for earning and winning is often the exact same word, like ganar in Spanish. You can ganar a salary and ganar the lottery, but English strictly separates the labor from the luck.
And the third way, which we obviously do not recommend, is to steal, taking money that isn't yours. Someone stole my wallet on the tube. So earn is work, win is luck, steal is a crime. Three completely different vectors of acquiring wealth.
Once you have the money, hopefully through earning it, the next step in an everyday scenario is interacting with a financial institution. The vocabulary here is wonderfully literal. To put money into your account is to bank it.
I love that. The noun itself becomes an action verb. I need to bank this cash before the weekend. It just means to deposit.
I love how English just turns nouns into verbs whenever it feels like it. And the word bank itself is interesting, right?
It is. It comes from the Italian word banca, which literally meant bench.
A bench, really.
Yeah. During the Renaissance in Italy, moneylenders would literally set up wooden benches in the marketplace to conduct their business. Over time, the bench itself became synonymous with the institution.
So when you are banking your money, you are metaphorically putting it on the Italian moneylender's wooden bench. That is amazing.
And when you want to take that money off the bench to spend it,
You withdraw it. You can withdraw up to £500 per day. But what's really fun is the vocabulary surrounding the automated machine you withdraw it from because it highlights regional cultural differences perfectly.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you are traveling, this is crucial. If you're in the United States, you will look for an ATM, an automated teller machine. It's very clinical, very literal.
But if you cross the ocean to the UK, the terminology becomes a bit more colloquial. You might ask for a cash machine or a cash point.
And my personal favorite, the incredibly informal British slang, the hole in the wall.
I love that one.
Because literally, it is a machine stuck into a hole in the brick wall of a bank on the high street. I need to find a hole in the wall to withdraw 50 quid. It is the classic British charm of absolute understatement. It's not a sophisticated automated teller. It's just a hole in the wall.
That is brilliant. Okay, so you've earned your good money. You've withdrawn it from the hole in the wall. Now, what do you do with it? You spend it, you waste it, or you save it. And the psychological difference between spending and wasting is huge.
It is an important distinction in connotation. To spend is a neutral transaction.
Yep.
You exchange currency for goods or services of equal perceived value. I spend money on groceries.
Right. But to waste has a profoundly negative judgmental connotation. It implies money badly spent, thrown away on something frivolous or useless, where the value received is way less than the money lost.
Like buying expensive bottled water when tap water is free is a waste of money.
Exactly. There's a funny example sentence we came across researching this. It was, Jack spent all his savings on his ex-girlfriend who was a real gold digger.
Oh, wow. Now, a gold digger, for you listening, is an idiom for someone who only dates a person to extract their wealth. They were digging for gold. So Jack didn't just spend his money. The sentence implies he heavily wasted it.
Which brings us to the opposite of spending saving. There are 3 common ways native speakers express this. The most common verb phrase is to save up. I'm saving up for a trip.
The addition of the word up gives it a directional, accumulating feeling, like the pile of money is physically going up.
Yes. You can also say put some money aside, which gives a physical spatial image of moving money away from your daily grasp so you can't touch it.
And finally, the noun form, savings, which refers to the total accumulated amount you have kept safe. Now, if you are like the guy in the example, Jack, and you have wasted all your savings on a gold digger, you might need help from a friend. And this brings us to the absolute biggest trap for English learners when talking about money, the borrow versus lend trap. I want everyone listening to pay super close attention because making this mistake instantly flags you as a beginner, and it causes immense confusion in everyday life.
It is perhaps the most frequent, stubborn error I see, even among highly advanced speakers. The confusion is between the verbs lend and borrow. They describe the exact same transaction, the temporary transfer of an item or money, but from opposite, rigid perspectives.
Let me play the confused learner here. Why is this so hard? Why do millions of smart people look at me and say, can you borrow me $10? What is happening in their brain?
It's actually a brilliant question of cognitive linguistics. In many languages around the world, German, Spanish, Mandarin, to name a few, the conceptual action of a temporary transfer of an object is handled by a single core verb.
Just one word.
Right. The direction of the transfer, whether it's coming to me or going to you, is handled by adding prepositions or pronouns. But English doesn't do that. English forces you to change the actual root verb itself, depending on whether you are the source or the destination.
Wow, that is tricky.
It requires an immediate cognitive shift in perspective. You have to decide if you are an egocentric receiver or an allocentric giver before you even choose the verb.
Okay, let's break that down into practical rules for the listener. Lend means you are the source. You're giving the money temporarily. Borrow means you are the destination. You are receiving the money temporarily.
Exactly. So if you need money, you are asking someone to give it to you. You must say,